Welcome to Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by FantasyGuru.com. Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Ray Flowers breaks it all down for you from a fantasy sports perspective. Hey there, everyone. Ray Flowers of FantasyGuru.com. Hope you're doing well. Excuse me. I've been arguing. Is everyone else tired of arguing with people? Right? I was arguing with people this morning from the bank, trying to get the tax documents. Like, come on, man, I'm trying to pay my taxes. Send me the documents. Anyway, in the old, you're on hold for 20 minutes. We'll be with you shortly. All representatives. Oh, man, play some classical music or something. I'm Ray Flowers of FantasyGuru.com. Thanks for joining me on the show today. Really appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being with us every day. And hope you're doing well wherever you might be. You're warm, you're healthy, you're happy, all that kind of good stuff in this crazy world of ours. We're here with you every day for about an hour, starting at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Trying to bring you some of that happiness and joy, right? Trying to get you out of the negativity that's surrounding us in the world today and talking some positive things. So we'll talk some sports today. We do it every day, Monday through Friday from about 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. Again, I'm Ray Flowers. Social medias for me are at the Ray Flowers. This show, about 1 hour a day, then about an hour break each day. And then from 2 to 5 Eastern on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the Elite Sports Show with Jeff Mans. I'm here with you Monday, Thursday, Friday. Justin Fenchman hosts Tuesdays and Wednesdays. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, when I'm not here, I'm with Jeff over on SiriusXM. I also just started recording a couple of podcasts for the preseason product at FantasyGuru.com. Click that subscribe tab in the top right corner to get signed up. I recorded a podcast that's going to go with an article talking about the tiering model. What is the tiering model? How and why should you use it when you're drafting? So there'll be an article and a podcast coming out soon about that. And I had a request. I don't know if I remember if it was here. I think it was here, actually. Talking about auction drafts. I'm going to do an auction podcast. So that'll be out relatively soon over at FantasyGuru.com as well. So, as I've said here on the show and in chat and everything, I don't plan on doing a ton of podcasts for the preseason product. We'll see how it goes. The reason being, A, I'm on this show and SiriusXM every day. B, I'm always in Discord. And C, while I can post articles and, edit things and cut photos and do all the stuff to do an article, I don't have the technological expertise to post a podcast. So I got to get other people on staff involved, and that's a whole big thing too. So bottom line is there'll be a couple of podcasts. I'll probably try to sneak in a couple in March too. We'll see. But we'll be with you 5 days a week, regardless of what happens there at the website. All right, let's throw up on the screen what we got going on today. We're talking a little bit more about the Fantasy Baseball Draft Guide because, hey, it's that time of year. Remember, the Draft Guide at FantasyGuru.com, which is available right now for purchase, is full season. It's from now through the end of the regular season. You get all the articles. You get all the access to the Discord chat room. You get any podcasts that we do, all that kind of stuff. You get it all, the rankings, all of it over at FantasyGuru.com. Click the subscribe tab in the top right corner of the page. Get signed up for the product. If you have any questions, you see that there on the screen or in the description below. Send an email to support@FantasyGuru.com. We have Mixed League rankings, AL-only rankings, NL-only rankings. Mixed League auction values, AL-only auction values, NL-only auction values. We've got best ball rankings. We've got on-base percentage rankings. We've got Dynasty rankings. We've got points league rankings. We have Solds rankings coming out, I think, tomorrow. We've got rookie rankings, which we're going to talk about today. We've got category rankings where we try to predict the top 100 performers in the 5x5 fantasy categories, except for saves. We got a lot of rankings over at FantasyGuru.com. And the main thrust of those, the AL, NL, and Mixed League rankings, are continually updated on a daily basis as needed until the season starts. Once the season starts, those rankings are locked, and they'll be updated at the mid-season point. On the show today, we'll look back at 2025. We've got an article that was released this week because it's rookie week over at FG. An article looking back at 2025. How did the rookies do? How was our top 50? The rookie rankings for this year were just released today. So if you're a member over at FantasyGuru.com, remember, click that subscribe tab in the top right corner. If you're not, you can sign up for the full season baseball package. You can sign up for the DFS baseball package. You can sign up for the betting package. You can sign up for 2 of the 3. You can sign up for all 3. Each one has articles and chat rooms and everything specifically for that. So you can get signed up for all of them, 2 of them, or 1 of them. But the seasonal product is rocking and rolling right now as we're talking about. We are updating it on a daily basis. We are posting articles on a daily basis. And today, the top 50 rookies for 2026. This is a big one. It's a really exciting time, right? How do we rank them? What are our thoughts? Remember, the last 2 days were, one day was the pitching, I think it was Wednesday, was the pitching profiles of all the rookies. Thursday was the hitting profiles of all the rookies. And today is the rankings. So a lot of rookie stuff. We also have the review of 2025 that we're going to talk about. And then the historical review of rookies since 2013. I've done a study every year. We continue to build on it. How successful are we at predicting who's going to break out as a rookie? So that's there at fantasyguru.com. It's also a Friday, so don't forget we'll have some football talk here at the end of the show. In about 20, 25 minutes, we'll talk to Russell J. Clase of FG. We'll continue our look around the rookies in football. So it's totally rookie day here on the show. We'll continue to look at the rookies. We'll finish up the wide receivers this week. Next week with Russell, we'll talk about the tight end rookie performances. He's our Dynasty guy over at fantasyguru.com. So we will, continue to go through the rookies today. We're seeing, as you can see there on the screen, with the wide receiver posizione. All right, here we go. So again, the top 50 rookies for 2026 went up today. I'm not going to talk about that on the show. You got to subscribe over at fantasyguru.com. We can't give everything away for free here. But the top 50 ranking rookies for 2026 are available now at fantasyguru.com. The last couple of days, we had, again, the scouting reports on all those players. I think it's 7,500 words or something like that. So nice little breakdown of the rookies. Part of that, again, we have the rookie review, historically, how do we do? And then there's a separate article as well, which is looking back at the 2025 rookie class. And I wanted to go through that with everybody a little bit today before we get to some news. There is some news, by the way. We'll get to that as well. I just skipped over that here in the intro to the show. Emmanuel Clase, did you see the Emmanuel Clase news? Holy crap. Talk about that. Tarik Skubal got paid. Hey, Tigers spending $70 million for the top two pitchers. Blaze Alexander, Jordan Lawlar. We'll talk a little bit about that too. Remember, click the subscribe tab to get signed up at FG. 5 ways to watch a show. Go to fantasyguru.com at the top of the page. Click on the Elite Plus tab. Wherever you listen to podcasts, if that's Pandora, Spotify, YouTube Music, or Apple iTunes, type in Fantasy Sports Daily. And then 3 places you can leave comments and questions for us on the show here. YouTube.com/Elite Plus Network. Twitter X at Fantasy Guru site. And Facebook.com/FantasyGuruHQ. We'll interact with you. If you leave comments or questions, you can talk to each other. You can watch us on demand too at those places at a later date if you're not able, obviously, to watch live. Number 1 rookie last year for us over at FantasyGuru.com was Roki Sasaki. He was most people's number 1 rookie. He came over, high 90s velocity, all the excitement. There was some concerns. He lost a little bit of velocity, but still his splitter was looked at as the best splitter in the world, one of the best pitches in the world. Can't miss guy. Terrible. Bombed. Like, quote from the article, bombed. I mean, that's just how it was. Late in the year, though, he brought it. Late in the year, he got healthy, was in the bullpen. It was a big driving force of their success in the postseason, as we're all well aware. Heading into this season, the plan is for Sasaki to go into the rotation. That's what we're hearing right now. That's the expectation right now. But last year was an utter failure. So it's, and again, I say this a lot too, when you're talking rookies, it's not that rookies don't have success every year. They absolutely do. 100% do. The problem is the guys we expect to have the success often don't. The guys that we're not really talking about, I mean, the best rookie, Nick Kurtz, was 22nd on the list last year, and that was a fair ranking. That wasn't me being anti-Nick Kurtz. That was a fair ranking. You know, I mean, that's just how, that's just how it was. Beyond, let's go back. Let's rewind things and continue with the top 10. Dylan Cruz played 85 games, stole 17 bases. Hey, stealing 30 bags would be nice over a full season. Absolutely. He had 208. He was awful. He bombed. And this was a guy who had played the previous year and had some success, and there was excitement. More of a floor than ceiling guy. He was neither last year. Dylan Cruz bombed. Jackson Jobe made 10 starts, had a 1.5 whip, blew his arm out. Bombed. Matt Shaw started with the team, bombed, was sent to the minors. Return from the minors was pretty good. Ended up with 13 home runs, 17 steals. It's not bad. OPS in the 600s, terrible. And as we've seen, he's not even in the starting lineup this year for the Cubs. So there's talk about the Cubs trading him. He didn't bomb last year, but he was terrible. Jason Dominguez, 23 steals is nice. 10 home runs. He didn't live up to expectations. Christian Campbell started out great. He was fantastic to begin the year. bombed, was demoted. Now the Red Sox spent a lot of second base, shortstop, first base, outfield. Like they moved him around a lot. They didn't do him a lot of favors. Let's just put it that way. He bombed. Jordan Lawlar, we'll talk about in a few minutes, bombed. Jacob Wilson, star. Top 2 in the Rookie of the Year, right? He was fantastic at over 300. Was great. He was better than anticipated. He was one of the few guys on this list that became who he was supposed to be right off the hop. Like that, what we saw last year, that's going to be Jacob Wilson for the next 10 years, right? Cam Smith, phenomenal spring, had 4 home runs, had an 1,100 OPS. Regular season starts, bombs. He had almost 500 plate appearances, and he was dead balls average. Did not live up to expectations. And Kobe Mayo, who had a nice finish to the season, but his OPS was in the 600s. The top 10 guys basically sucked last year. Bubba Chandler was 11. Yeah. Jack Leiter was fine. He was 12. Rhett Lauder hurt himself. He was 13. Quinn Matthews was 14. Kumar Rocker was 15. Roman Anthony was 16. Roman Anthony was really good, but of course he didn't play half the season. Noah Schultz, we didn't see him. Colson Montgomery had 21 home runs, so he was a hit. Paseo didn't play. He was kind of a miss. Chase Burns was terrific, but he only threw 43 innings because he had some injuries and some workload concerns. Chase Dollander sucked. Nick Kurtz was fantastic. Andrew Painter never made it to the big leagues last year. Carson Williams had a 42% strikeout rate in 32 games. Ugh. And that's always been the thing with Carson Williams. A Gold Glove caliber defender. The Rays shortstop is a superstar defensively. He's got power and speed. He could be a 20-20, 30-30 guy at the big league level. He also has massive contact issues. Massive contact issues. He had a 42% strikeout rate in his debut last year. Horrendous. Drake Baldwin was terrific. Okay. Division de los Santos, horrendous. Jacob Mizorowski was good, but he only threw 66 innings. Zach Veen was Bech. We talked about that. Was it earlier this week? I think it was. It wasn't Veen, it was Bech. Walter Jenkins, we never saw. Dalton Rushing had a 582 OPS, didn't do anything. Cade Horton was great. We talked about Cade Horton. He was great. Travis Bazzani was supposed to be the most big league ready hitter that was drafted last year. He was supposed to make it to the big leagues at some point at the end of the season. No, he was injured. He only played half the year anyway. Nick York, nothing. Marcelo Mayer was solid, but he had his surgery and only played less than 50 games. I mean, folks, this seems disastrous, but this is how it is every year. It was particularly bad last season, but still, this is how it is every year. Emmanuel Rodriguez, never saw him. Adrian Del Castillo had a 680 OPS. He was supposed to be like the DH for the Diamondbacks and everything, right? And there was some excitement there about his bat. 682 OPS. Tink Hence got hurt again. I wrote that he's hurt a lot last year, and he got hurt again. So, I mean, that guy. Hagen Smith threw 75 innings in 20 starts. The White Sox were very cautious and careful with Smith. They just didn't let him go deep into games. He had massive control issues, massive walk issues. He was horrendous last year. Luis Angel Acuna was terrific for 2 weeks, but by the end of the year, his OPS was in the 500s. Kyle Teal was fantastic. He was really good. Not fantastic. That's too far. He was really good. He had a 375 on base percentage. Kyle Teal, the catcher of the White Sox, had a 375 on base percentage. How many people recognize that? He was really good. And he's going to be a very effective player this year. Next up on the list, Elic Ayomanor. Nope. Jake Bloss blew his arm out last year. The Blue Jays young hurler had to have Tommy John surgery. Nope. Jace Jung only played 21 games. His OPS was in the 300s. Nope. Owen Cassie played 12 games. Nope. Relvis Martinez coming back from PEDs. Forgot how to hit. Nope. Chase DeLauder was hurt 14 times last year. We saw him late in the year. We saw him in the playoffs, but nope, didn't hit. Brandon Sproat was very successful, but he pitched 4 games. So, nope. And Joey Cantillo. Joey Cantillo was good. He had 10 strikeouts per 9 and had 34 games, made 13 starts. He was actually pretty good. So that's the list. You know? And it's one of those things where you hear that list and you think to yourself, well, Ray, you're just awful at this. Thank you. I'm not. Okay. And the thing is that list is pretty, there's not many times at the rookie class where we go completely off book, right? Most of the time there's a consensus-ish, and is this guy going to rank 9th or 3rd or whatever? Okay. That's just how it was. Looking back at last season, here are the ADP numbers of some of the rookies that hit, right? Here they are. Jacob Wilson, 401 was his ADP in the NFBC. 401, 400. He wasn't even drafted. I actually drafted him in Tout Wars last year. Jack Leiter, 413. Andrew Painter, 539. Okay. Jordan Bech was 540. Chandler Simpson, 586. Agustin Ramirez, 622. These are the rookies that hit. Listen to these ADP numbers, right? This is crazy stuff. And this is Nick Kurtz was 674. He wasn't drafted in any league. 674. Kyle Teal was 680. Colson Montgomery was 695. You're going to draft rookies. I know it. You know it. We know it. Everyone knows it. Be cautious with drafting rookies. Oftentimes, the rookies that hit are not the ones we expect to hit. And it's one thing if you spent your 23rd round pick on a rookie or your 28th round pick on a rookie, that's okay. If you're spending a 14th round pick, which happens every year, 10th round pick, like this happens every year. Guys get excited, gals get excited. They draft these rookies early. You're taking a massive risk. History, and again, there's the history of rookie production. I would encourage everyone to read that article. It's pretty instructive. If we can't predict the top 20 rookies with a high degree of certainty, how can we predict it 40 or 50? So the bottom line is we go through the exercise because it's important. Jeff Mans and I were talking about this on the Elite Sports Show, again, 2 to 5 Eastern, Monday through Friday. We were going through this, and we were talking, and Jeff was saying, hey, Ray, what's the key here? Have you been able to look at anything? Have you been able to figure anything out? Have you been able to discern any patterns for these rookie players? And I had to say no. And I've thought about it a lot. I've written about it for years. I've studied it I don't have an answer. And I don't think anyone has an answer. And that's the beauty of baseball, and it's the pain of baseball, right? You just don't know which guy's going to hit at the start, which guy's going to pitch at the start. You don't necessarily know what the playing time is going to look like. You don't know who's going to get hurt. And Jeff said, I know what the number one trait is, and it says ability to be on the field, availability, a role. And it's true. We don't know which big league player is going to get hurt to open up a role for a minor leaguer. We don't know which big league player is going to hit 180 or have a 7.5 ERA. We don't know. We don't know. Oftentimes, the chance the rookies get is when big leaguers fail. So it's not even just predicting, will this guy have success or not? Where's this guy's skill set right now? Is he prepped and ready for? It's who in front of him is not going to fail or get hurt. So be cautious with that. Adam asked the question, how long till we get some more packs? I've got a box arriving in a day off today. I don't know. I don't have any. I'm out of packs right now. I think I'll probably get some as we get closer to opening day. Maybe we'll do that. Yeah, not a bad idea. My birthday's the first week of April, so it's too late. I can't wait for that, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get some at it. Adam, I know people enjoy doing that. Angela says, I still have hope for Caglione. Yeah, you should. He played one season. He's fine. That's another thing. And I always tell this, and it's a stupid example, but go look at Mike Trout's rookie season. He hit 210. So OPS was in the 600s. Mike Trout, Hall of Famer for most people, right? Hit 210 as a rookie. Struggling your first go-round through the big leagues doesn't really mean much. It really doesn't. So, yeah, there's still plenty of time for him to get going. Godfrey says, long time since I've been on live. Yeah, welcome. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Love that Baseball Talk is back. Listen to you on my long runs these days. I know. And I appreciate that. And stay in good shape. Don't freeze. Take care of yourself. I don't know why anyone runs. I hate running. All those years of basketball, I will swim. I will bike. I don't like running. I hate it. I've done too much of it. Anyway, appreciate everybody in their comments there in the chat. So that's the review of rookies. Again, all the articles are available over at fantasyguru.com. Get signed up. Click the subscribe tab in the top right corner. Get all the details. Get all the scouting reports. And get the top 50 rookies for the 2026 season. All available right now over at fantasyguru.com. Any questions, send an email to support@fantasyguru.com. We're about 10 minutes away from talking rookie wide receivers with Russell Clay. And he doesn't know this. I didn't tell him. But I got some questions for him. We're going to do some rapid fire questions with Russ. He's pretty good spirited, happy-go-lucky kind of guy. I think it'll go well, a little kind of off the wall, kind of fun relating to the Super Bowl. So stay tuned for that here. That'll probably be about half an hour from now, but Russ will join us in about 10 minutes. All right, pulling back from all of that for a second, let's talk some news. I'm sure you've all seen the Emmanuel Clase thing by now. If you haven't, I wish I was you because this is bad. Emmanuel Clase, who we know has been suspended, along with Luis Ortiz. It's apparently, for Clase in particular, way worse than we heard at the initial hop of this thing. As we sit here right now, in the month of February in 2026, I think Emmanuel Clase's career is just over. Based upon what we're hearing, there is no chance he ever throws a big league pitch again. If a tenth of what we're hearing is accurate, his career is done. Like, this is horrendous stuff. Here's what we're hearing. Court documents were filed yesterday. The news reporters were able to get a handle of that. Emmanuel Clase is being accused of throwing suspect pitches. We've heard about this, right? The story was that he'd thrown a couple pitches, like ball ones that guys bet on, and they made some money off it, all that kind of stuff. We're hearing that he did this, according to the complaint filed in court, 48 games over 2 years. The prosecutors believe they have found 48 different games where Emmanuel Clase threw a pitch. I don't mean threw a pitch. I mean, he threw a pitch to let his guys win some money. Number one, 48 games. That's astounding. I mean, that it boggles the mind that if this is accurate, he cheated at least 48 different times. Boggles the mind. Secondly, how is Emmanuel Clase the best reliever in baseball when he's throwing pitches out of the strike zone on purpose? I mean, that's how good this guy was and could have been, right? We've talked about this a lot, making all this money, he's going to make $100 million in his career, all that kind of stuff. According to reports, he and Ortiz made like thousands of dollars. Not hundreds of thousands of dollars, not a million, like thousands of dollars. Like, they were just kind of doing this so their two buddies in Puerto Rico, or Dominican, excuse me. The two buddies in the Dominican could make money. The two people in the Dominican placed $460,000 on bets based upon the speed and the outcome of pitches. So that their co-conspirators, if this is all true, their co-conspirators placed bets to win at least $460 million. $460,000, excuse me, million. $460,000. They were basically betting on like balls and strikes, single pitches. And eventually someone said, hey, there's a lot of action here. Let's look into this. So as of right now, Tarik Skubal, excuse me, I was looking at my notes. As of right now, Emmanuel Clase is being charged with throwing pitches for gambling benefit in 48 games. This is the worst. I mean, again, there's been gambling in baseball. Pete Rose. This is the worst instance of gambling infecting baseball in the history of the sport. This is, unless you want to go back to the Black Sox, I guess. Talk about that. I guess I should have said in the 21st century. But this is just, this guy threw his life away. For what? For thousands of dollars when he could have made millions and millions and millions and millions in contracts. It's absolutely befuddling. Absolutely befuddling. So bottom line is his career is done. I don't know how he'd come back from it, even if, again, if one of these charges sticks, his career is over. So he's out. Cade Smith, who took over in the ninth inning last year and was phenomenal, is going to be the closer again this year for the Guardians. Hunter Gaddis, who was terrific as a setup man, he'll be back there. Sean Armstrong's available. They've got Matt Festa, who they added in the offseason. This is especially Gaddis and Smith. That's a really good 1-2 punch. We know that for years now, not just Clase, for years now, the Guardians have been able to have a lot of success out of the bullpen, and they should yet again this season. But shocking news, just shocking. I mean, it's stunning, actually. Tarik Skubal, talk about stunning. We talked about this yesterday. We had the discussion in the chat. Hey, is Tarik Skubal going to be pissed off when he realizes his new teammate Framber Valdez is making $38 million and he's only making 19 if he loses his arbitration case? Well, he won his arbitration case. So he's making 32. He's still making less than Framber Valdez, but he's making 32. So I'm sure that makes him feel much better. Here's the thing. Those two guys' salary is $70 million this year. $70 million for two guys. Now, there's a signing bonus involved here. I haven't seen the actual contract. I don't think it's actually been released. I was checking sources and everything like that. Framber Valdez is getting a $20 million signing bonus. I don't know if he's getting a $20 million signing bonus and he's only getting paid $20 million this year. I don't know if he's getting a $20 million signing bonus on top of his $38 million this year. So there is a minimum, based upon what we know today, a minimum of $70 million going to the two pitchers, though that number could be as high as $90 million, pending how the contract is actually worded and how the money is being paid to Framber Valdez. Wow. Skubal won the deal. There are now some people that I've heard, some reports I've seen suggesting maybe the Tigers are going to trade Skubal. Why? I mean, I can't say they would. If they're 12 games under 500 come the trade deadline and the season's lost and they know they're not going to be able to give him $300 million, we talked about yesterday, maybe they do that. I can't see him doing it in the preseason. Like people saying that, I just don't. You roll with it. You made this. You knew Skubal was going to either make 19 and be super pissed off, or make 32 and you're going to be paying him. He wasn't going anywhere. You made the move to add Framber Valdez. I think the Tigers are all in this year, so I would not expect Skubal to be traded unless there's that scenario where we get to the trade deadline and the season's lost. But that's, again, at least $70 million. The best 1-2 punch in the American League. Certainly the best 1-2 punch in baseball, lefty-lefty. One guy throws gas up in the zone. The other guy throws sinkers down in the zone. It's not just that they're both really good and they're both left-handed. It's that they're stylistically very different. That's going to be quite the battle for hitters here to see those two guys in back-to-back games. Godfrey's makes a note. He'd be an interesting trade target with him getting a contract and the new CBA will be signed. Absolutely. The CBA ends in December. It's everyone expects, and we've talked about it on the show, likely to be a strike here. Guys like Skubal will become free agents if he isn't able to sign a contract extension with the Tigers or somebody else before the season ends. Those guys are going to be really nervous because we heard all this talk about a salary cap. The question then becomes, if there is a salary cap, what is the cap? And how much does that tramp down the top guys while boosting the bottom guys? The thought process goes, Tarik Skubal is still getting paid. He's a superstar. He'll get paid. Some team will find the way to give him his $300 million no matter what the salary cap is. It's the guys in the middle or the lower guys that won't get paid as much. So that's why there's a lot of concern here from the players union and all that. And you're right. Any smart agent tries to get them paid this year. I think that's what we might have seen with Framber Valdez getting the $20 million signing bonus. That's what we saw with Ranger Suarez. Go check out the way his contract is structured too. Ranger Suarez, same thing. Blake Snell, same thing. A lot of guys have done that if you read in between the lines. Before we talk to Russell Clay here in a couple minutes, Blaze Alexander's been traded to the Orioles. Don't really care. Except Jordan Lawlar, baby. Yes, Jordan Lawlar, who was number 7 on our rookie list last year, who was phenomenal in the minor leagues last year. Let me pull up the numbers. He played half the season. The problem with Lawlar is, 1, he's been continually hurt. And 2, he's continually changing positions. Shortstop, third base. Now they're talking outfield. He played 63 games at AAA. He had 11 home runs, 20 steals, 50 runs, 50 RBIs, and had an OPS of 966. He was phenomenal. Jordan Lawlar, who I wrote up last year in detail in the rookie profiles, Jordan Lawlar has been predicted by most talent evaluators to have the skill set where he, might struggle to hit 275. He might be a 250 hitter, but he has the skill set where this dude's going 30-30. And again, we saw that level of production at AAA last year. Why it's important is because the move of Blaze Alexander out seemingly opens up the door for Jordan Lawlar to become a full-time player in the outfield. And in fact, General Manager Mike Hazen said after the trade of Blaze Alexander that I think we'll probably see Jordan Lawlar in the outfield this year. So, he'll still continue to work in the infield. His defense has always been, there's been questions. He's a shortstop, but the question, could he really stay at shortstop? Maybe be better served at third base. Now we're hearing likely outfield. Obviously, the Diamondbacks made the move in the offseason to add Nolan Arenado, so they don't need a third baseman. They don't need a second baseman. They've got Ketel Marte. They don't need a shortstop. They've got Perdomo. So Lawlar most likely will be in the outfield this season. He only played a handful of games at the big league level, 28 games. Let's see, what did he play? I don't even know offhand as we're about ready to check in with Russell Clay. Let's look here to verify. Major League Baseball. He played shortstop 1 game, played third base 12 games, he played second base 5 games. He'll be third base eligible, I think, for most of you, because it usually defaults to the highest games played number if none of them are 20. He'll be third base eligible, likely picking up outfield in season. So that's really intriguing. I love Jordan Lawlar's skill set. I'm a big fan, but he has shown an inability to make contact at the big league level, and he's had tons of injuries stunting his growth. So this is the pivotal year for Jordan Lawlar. But it'll probably end up on quite a few of my teams if we're being honest about that. And then finally, Brandon Rodgers gets out of Colorado. He's not going back to Houston. He's going to Boston. Romy Gonzalez is the second baseman there for the Red Sox. Maybe finally one of these days, Brandon Rodgers, who was an elite, he was top 5 pick, if I'm not mistaken. He was 4th overall. Maybe Brandon Rodgers can finally find his stroke with some new coaching. Maybe find his groove here with the Red Sox. We'll see. How old is he? He's 29 years old, man. He's 29 years old, and he was the 3rd pick in 2015. Just never lived up to expectations with the Rockies. All right, so there's the baseball news. Remember, go to fantasyguru.com, click that subscribe tab in the top right corner. Get signed up for the product over at fantasyguru.com. We got you covered every single day. Updates. On the weekend, we'll have Sabermetric Primer come out. So a breakdown of all the Sabermetric numbers and categories. We'll have the first year rookie draft. Patio Joe's doing that. So for those of you looking for some review of the college kids, he'll have that on the weekend. We'll also have a release of the Solds rankings. So with the release of the Solds rankings tomorrow, I think all the rankings are up now at fantasyguru.com. Hopefully you're enjoying the product over there. All right, it is Friday. On Fridays, we talk to our main man, Russ J. Clay, the Clayster. We talk to him every Friday at about 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. He is our Dynasty guy over at fantasyguru.com. As a result, we are going with him we've been doing this for the last couple of weeks. We'll continue to do it next week one final time. Talking rookies and rookie performances in 2025. We're up to the second half of the wide receiver group. Next week, we'll finish off talking the rookie tight ends. Let's bring him into the show today. He is Russell J. Clay, fantasyguru.com. How you doing, Russ?
Oh, I'm doing good, Ray. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You know, it's one of those things where had a busy morning. Had to get really early in the dark and walk the dog today. I then had to battle with the bank who didn't want to send me my tax forms because, I guess they want me to get busted for not paying taxes. I had to scramble a little bit around. I had to unload the dishwasher.
Oh my God.
Garbage. I had a big
murderer's row over
Seriously,
here.
I barely made it to the show on time.
I had to put on socks because I just cannot do anything without socks on. I would feel very uncomfortable. So that was my big accomplishment for the morning.
Do you have slippers or just socks?
I do like slippers. I don't have a pair right now though.
Oh. Hey, anyone looking to buy Russell Clay, get in the good zone. Of Russ
yeah,
Clay,
that's right.
What size, Russ?
Let me link to my OF.
Yeah, there you go. Do you like slide slippers, or do you like? Because some people like the ones where your heel is kind of exposed, or do you like a full shoe?
I like the full.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we've got that settled, because everyone really wanted to know, he's Russell Clay at fantasyguru.com. You can follow him on Twitter X at Russell J. Clay. You can most times, find him on the live stream on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time over at fantasyguru.com. It's the off season after Sunday, but you're still going to be talking. Are you still going to be doing your TikTok videos on Wednesday, talking Dynasty in the off season?
Oh, yeah. We're doing TikToks. We did the live on Wednesday. I did a TikTok yesterday about how my entire childhood of sports has been erased from history. Bonds, Belichick, Lance Armstrong, Tiger Woods. My entire childhood was a lie, Ray.
Right there with you. My brother we used to watch the Tour de France, and my brother was kind of a big fan of Armstrong, and it was a great story coming back from cancer and the whole thing. And it's like, oof.
Don't really hear about that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And the thing, just as someone who, let's be honest, we've all done something we're not happy that we did. And most of the time, our initial response is, I didn't do it. Just admit it, right? Like I had the whole thing with a friend once, and it's like, just admit it, right? You got caught. You're buzzed. Like we're talking the Emmanuel Clase thing. I don't know if you saw this news here.
Oh, yeah. How many games was he?
They think that he threw pitches in 48 games.
Yeah.
That's astounding. He didn't cheat once. He might have cheated 48 times.
That was like most of his games, right?
And he's still an all-star, still the best reliever in baseball. But 48 wow. So just admit it when you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story for me. Luckily, Russ, I'm never wrong, so I hardly ever have to admit it. Russell Clay at fantasyguru.com. Let's dive into some football talk. One of the guys in the game this weekend, we'll start off with him, Kyle Williams. How do we assess Kyle Williams' 2025 performance, and what are we thinking here moving forward?
He made appearances like for my bird watchers out there, like a hawk, like one of those bald eagles. You're like, oh my God, it's a bald eagle. And then you just don't see him again for 2 months. So what's the evaluation on Kyle Williams in year one? I don't know. If you have him, I would be excited. He looks great. He looks super explosive. He looks exactly like what they need. And then they just used him very sparingly. So kind of tracks with how Mike Vrabel uses rookies. It could also go the other way, though. We don't know what was going on behind the scenes. So I'll give that a C-. He was a third rounder, so I don't think year one expectations were too high to begin with. But yeah. I mean, this is these second and third round rookies, Ray. This is what we're looking at. We're shooting snipers. We don't have the guarantee of anything, really.
Isn't it amazing too that we're talking second or third round? We're not, and don't forget, we're not just drafting offensive players that are skill players in round one, right? We're taking linemen, defensive players. I always caution people because a lot of people, you see this all the time too with you answering the Dynasty questions over at fantasyguru.com. People are in love with getting draft picks, and it's like, oh, I'm getting a second and a third, and it's like, okay, that's nice, but am I trading a guy that's going to, catch 72 balls for 1,000 yards for a third round, second round pick? It's not as good. You've done the studies. It really, like you're saying, third round sounds early, but it's really not that easy to go from a third rounder to, at least early in your career, being somebody that we can count on in the fantasy game.
This is why it's so important to know the data and know what you're looking at. And again, with my type of strategy, right, I do like rookie picks. I also understand 60% of my roster is going to suck, right? So I am looking for one JSN. I'm looking for one late round guy. And if I hit that one guy, it's going to average out all the crap that I'm going to have to deal with, Ray. And that's really what it is, right? We're going to have to deal with a lot of bad, a lot of busts, a lot of players that aren't going to hit or are going to have moments we're going to get excited about, and we're never going to hear from them again. So when we're talking about a guy like Kyle Williams, it's like, whoa, we saw it.
Yeah.
That is no guarantee that this is going to be a long-term thing, but we get to get excited this offseason until they draft his replacement. But yeah, no, third rounders, especially second rounders, we can have some expectations for, but third rounders, what would we say, Ray? 20 to 30% become really like fantasy relevant. Yeah. And then what's fantasy relevant? 800 yards?
Clear Shakir, is that?
Yeah. So, the guys out of the third round that really become fantasy relevant, like 1,000 yards or more, probably 10 to 15%. So keep that in mind.
Another third round pick. This guy we saw score 6 touchdowns, even though he never had targets, even though he was on the field sparingly, at least for the first half of the season. And he's workout warrior Jim. Right, like this guy's G.I. Joe. He's He-Man. He's master of the universe. Isaac TeSlaa has all kinds of physical skills. He's older. We've talked about him before, but he's got the size, he's got the skill, he's got the speed, he's got all those tools, and he scored 6 touchdowns this year. But he really didn't get the ball. Things are changing a little bit with the OC and the coaching with the Lions, but they still have Jameson Williams. They still got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're hoping to get back Sam Laporta. Talk us through Isaac TeSlaa.
6 touchdowns on 16 receptions. That's good. We like the offense he's in. This is the other part of rookie evaluation and production is right now, their depth chart as it stands is too crowded for him to emerge as a big time weapon.
Right.
And I do know they drafted or they extended Jameson Williams. However, things can change drastically very quickly. And we are seeing already 10 head coaching changes this offseason. Let's say we have another bad year with Dan Campbell next year. I'm not going to say he's going to be on the hot seat, but what if everything changes? They change OCs, they drastically change their offense. Things are going to look a lot different. So as long as he keeps playing well, you drafted TeSlaa in the 3rd round. There was no expectations. There's some hype now. Maybe you could drop him off for a 2nd round rookie pick this year and make a little profit. But overall, this is a sit and wait. You're looking at year 3, 4, 5. And what does that Lions team look like 2, 3, 4 years from now? Your guess is as good as mine, because the wheels started to come off last year, Ray. And if they have another year like that, which is certainly possible with the Vikings, Packers, and the Bears all in that division, NFL moves fast. So that's why I say if there's talent, just draft it. And sometimes you'll get lucky, like Omari and Hampton getting Mike McDaniel out of nowhere, right?
Russell Clay at fantasyguru.com. Sometimes. Yay. Woo. Mike Thomas. Oh, excuse me. I mean, Pat Bryant of the Broncos. We heard the Mike Thomas stuff from the coaching staff. And there were some moments where Pat Bryant flashed a little bit. A lot of it coincided with Franklin being injured. And, Bryant, I think, had a moderately successful season as a rookie, but again, no fantasy value there. This is the team in the Broncos that it's a little tough to figure. They got Cortland Sutton there, and then it's Marvin Mims, and it's Franklin, and it's Bryant, and little Jordan Humphrey from time to time. I'm like, eh. So what are we thinking with Pat Bryant? He obviously wasn't Michael Thomas this year, but what do you think?
I think the Broncos had more plans for him than anyone expected, other than those people that ran with those preseason, offseason stories.
Right.
The problem was he kept getting hurt, which is a one-way ticket to getting the Broncos to draft another receiver, which they have been doing pretty consistently over the last couple years. So I was once a victim of Marvin Mims, and I don't know if there's a lawsuit, a class action we got going for that, but that didn't end well for me. Are they going to keep drafting guys? I don't know. It seems it's funny, right? Because we talk about the draft picks, and then the Broncos are the perfect example of they've had Cortland Sutton for what, a decade now, a half decade now. They keep drafting guys, and nobody's better than him.
Right.
And he's 30 now, and we think the replacement's coming, but what if he's just good until he's 33? And then we just keep recycling all these random names. So I'm not a big Pat Bryant guy. I like the upside. He could play, but man, is this Broncos offense annoying.
Yes. Russell Clay at fantasyguru.com. Tennessee Titans, new head coach. Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward. Here we go. It's getting better. It's getting better. Talk their 2 rookie wideouts. Chimere Dike, had a few moments. Obviously, Pro Bowler for his kick return game and, some splash plays, that kind of thing. Elic Ayomanor, obviously the guy that was expected to be the lead receiver. Dike exceeded expectations. Ayomanor, where are we heading with both these guys into year 2 after year 1? A lot of clarity on this one, Russ, huh?
Listen, I'm a fan of Elic Ayomanor. I was a fan of him at Stanford. There's not going to be a top 10 fantasy wide receiver named Elic Ayomanor. Come on. We got to do the deep analysis here. That name is not going to be a top 10 fantasy wide receiver. That's my in-depth analysis there. But these guys scream depth. I do think they're both NFL caliber. I do think they're both 2nd, 3rd, 4th wide receivers on an offense. They need a 1, though. And we saw that. Cam Ward needs a 1. They need to draft someone. And there are guys that can fit into that. So I think Elic could be a great wide receiver 3 and a decent wide receiver 2, but he's not a wide receiver 1. And DK is really fun for real football. And that's a great pick by the Titans. But we see this all the time. When one of your best assets is special teams, they tend to want to keep you on there, and that just hurts offense.
I see Adam saying, don't forget about Chigakonkwo. If I'm not mistaken, Okonkwo is a free agent. Gunnar Helm, the rookie. We'll talk about him next week because we'll talk tight ends next week. But yeah, we'll see what they do. This team needs a wide receiver one, right? In free agency or the draft, they need to get that guy for Cam Ward. That's basically what you were saying, right, Russ?
Yeah, they don't have one. And what we've seen with the successful quarterbacks, what have all these organizations done? Loaded it up. Just keep loading it up for these guys.
Russ, let's talk a little bit about the Raiders. We have to. We're obligated to. They're going to get a new coach here. It looks like Kubiak. They're going to draft a quarterback, it looks like. Trey Tucker had one huge game. He won massive in 3 touchdowns and everything. That was like his whole season. The rest of this receiving core never really had a moment like that, but they had a couple of rookies, Jack Bech and Dante Thornton, who, at various times, 8-9 months ago, people were kind of into these guys, right? And even in the season, there were moments where people said, well, yeah, so-and-so went down and there's an opportunity. Bech and Thornton, your assessment.
So every year there are guys that I like in the evaluation process. Plays, they're amazing high ceiling talents. And then the rookie drafts happen. And then there's the guys that become the values that I actually get to draft and the ones that nobody seems to want. Jack Bech was that guy. So I have a lot of him. I wasn't a huge fan, but once you start drafting a guy and he gets on your roster, you start to cape up for him. So I was really annoyed with the Tyler Lockett thing. They signed him mid-season and played him over both those guys. So that's not a great sign, but also, do we trust anything that coaching staff did? I don't. I would love to see them increase Bech's target share like a lot this year, but I don't know if they do it. So we'll see. I'm still holding out hope. He was free. So who cares? Same thing with Thornton. They're both free. So if you're holding them, continue to hold. It is what it is.
Russell Clay at fantasyguru.com. Let's go over to Seattle. This one's interesting because Tory Horton, he scored 5 touchdowns in 7 games before he got hurt. And when he got hurt, they then brought in Rashid Shaheed and, that kind of thing. But Horton was making some inroads here. And Cooper Kupp has had his moments, no doubt about that. And he wasn't going to overtake Cooper Kupp. But the point being that, we could have been seeing Horton seeing 4 or 5 targets a week, right? We could have seen him right there along with Cooper Kupp in terms of the workload. How do we look at this? JSN's the one. Kupp signed for multi-years, so he'll be back next season unless something strange happens. I think Shaheed will be a free agent, if I'm not mistaken, so I don't know how that's going to play out. But what do we do with Tory Horton, who put some nice moments on film?
I made a joke on Tuesday's live stream that Tory Horton's watching what Rashid Shaheed's doing and shaking his fist right now, saying it could have been me.
Right?
Rashid Shaheed and Tory Horton are basically the same player, and Horton was looking fantastic early in the year. So really, really bummed he got hurt. Again, he was someone you got free. I am certainly excited to have him on my roster if I do. I haven't forgot about that first half of the year. And with this team, I mean, JSN's the clear one, but you don't need Horton to be the one. You just need him to be a random flex or a best ball guy. So yeah, I like what I saw this year, but again, free and a roster guy.
Looking at this entire group, which one guy would you want on your team next year? Kyle Williams, Isaac TeSlaa, Pat Bryant, Chimere Dike, Elic Ayomanor, Bech, Thornton, Horton. Which one of those guys would you want if you had to choose just one? And is there one that you want nothing to do with?
If we're turning the upside sliders all the way up, pure ceiling, I would say Kyle Williams because he's connected to Drake May.
Okay.
And what he showed in year 1 is enough to get me thinking. There's a bunch of mishmash on the Patriots this year. Butte is pretty good. Diggs is whatever. It's a bunch of mid. And the upside there is Kyle. So that's my play.
One final guy I want to ask you about because I'm like you. It's like I'm selfishly wanting to, talk about my team. Taj Felton with the Vikings, another 3rd round wide receiver. We spent so much time talking about McCarthy and Jefferson that like the air got sucked out of the room here. Felton, I don't think anyone expected him to have a significant role, right? But Jordan Addison was in and out of the lineup. Jordan Addison's a disaster in his own right. He's not Emmanuel Clase, but he's constantly getting in trouble off the field. Is Felton, let's throw a dart kind of guy, the last guy in your team in a dynasty league? Is it too much? Again, my team, I have 50 roster spots, so I can do it. But in a normal 23, 25 kind of zone, is he even worth rostering at the moment?
That was a guy I ended up with a lot as well, mainly because nobody wanted him.
Right.
My thought was Vikings draft well historically, but you know what, Ray? They fired their GM this offseason, so maybe I got a little ahead of myself on using the Vikings GM reasoning there. But he was really cheap for a day 2 guy as well. Like you mentioned, Addison is significantly better than him, but he's got other struggles to deal with, so he may not be there in a couple years. I like Felton as an upside play. It's going to be a new organization, but if they draft someone, it wouldn't shock me at all.
Russ Clay at fantasyguru.com. It is Super Bowl week, Russ, and I hinted at this on the show earlier without telling you at all that we're going to do this. I got some questions for you.
Oh,
so we're just going to fire some Super Bowl-ish questions at you here. No right or wrong answer, so don't feel the pressure. I'm not going to ask you who, in Super Bowl 3, who threw for how many yards did Joe Namath throw for. They were, by the way, 18-point underdogs to the Colts. I found that out the other day. 18-point underdogs. And they won that Super Bowl 3 against the Colts. First question for you. Have you ever actually been to a Super Bowl?
No.
Would you want to go to a Super Bowl?
Oh, Ray, let's go.
I don't have tickets yet, but it's right down the street. You're not that far. Jump on a plane.
Would I want to go? I think what I would want to do is go to Super Bowl week and hang out. Right. I don't even know if the game in 2026 is the parties and the social aspect around the game more fun than the actual game. Right. That's my honest question. I feel like it's like that with a lot of things at this point, but yeah, of course I'd want to go. Yeah.
I've never actually been to a game, but I've been at games. I've been to like 4 or 5 Super Bowls. I used to work with Ryan Houston back in the day, and he had a friend who did the memorabilia game, and he was actually the guy that provided, I think it was Upper Deck with all their autograph stuff. So I've worked booths at the All-Star game at the Super Bowl 5 times. So I've been, but as like you, I've never actually been at the game. Chicken wings. This is a big, hot, contentious topic with myself and Jeff Mans. Chicken wings, boneless or bone-in?
Okay, listen. I'm from the epicenter of where buffalo wings started. Okay. So I know what I'm supposed to say.
Oh, man.
I'm supposed to say bone-in, right? Bone-in with buffalo, with blue cheese.
Okay.
I'm about 2 hours from Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
However, one of the big things, I'm wearing my UMass shirt.
Right.
One of the big traditions we have as Western Mass people, especially if you're right by UMass campus, you go to the hangar, you get about 30 boneless wings with their sauce, and then you go to the game. So I am a boneless tender guy, but I feel like boneless tender versus boneless wings. I'm going to do bone in if it's wings.
Okay.
But I like boneless tenders. I'm a tenders guy.
Jeff thinks bone in is disgusting. And I'm like, well, you're just eating chicken nuggets. Just say you like chicken nuggets. That's fine. It's not.
I'm a boneless tenders guy. So wherever that lands in the debate, I don't know.
Well, you define it. Jeff wants boneless chicken wings. I'm like, you can't have a boneless chicken wing. You either have bone-in chicken wing or you have a chicken tender, like you're talking about, right? I don't care if it's the shape of a chicken wing. It's not. So yeah, I think you answered it well. Light or heavy breading, by the way. I like light breading.
Heavy. I mean, in reality, what is Russ really there for? We see the dino-shaped processed chicken. Yes, I am there for the breading and the sauce, and the chicken is just the vehicle to get me to my heartburn, basically.
And remember, this is the right guy to be asking this because Russ Clay is famous for his pretzel reviews. So he's a foodie. He's a foodie. Get to my heartburn. I like that. I kind of talked over you, but if you didn't hear that, folks, that was a good comment. Your favorite Super Bowl food? Anything. If you could choose one thing to have, one thing you have to have, one thing you always have, what would be your favorite Super Bowl day food?
Favorite Super Bowl food is going to be the wings, whatever they are, as long as there's a buffalo flavored something. You gotta have pretzels there. I'm gonna keep up for my pretzels, any kind. You can have stale, unsalted pretzels. I don't care. Just have them there in a bowl. But you do need to have some type of pretzel there. You have to have celery there. It doesn't taste good. Nobody likes celery. I haven't found one person that I could get on record. Maybe people do. I don't, but you got to have it there. And
I said celery and ranch dressing yesterday, and Jeff Mans thought I was disgusting.
Yeah.
Because the celery
I think me and Jeff have similar palates. Yeah,
you guys and your fried food.
I'm not a celery guy, but I know it's important to the event. And then buffalo chicken dip, of course. But yeah.
So we've established you've never been to a game. You always, of course, watch the game. What's the best venue to watch a Super Bowl? Is it at home on your couch? Is it at a bar? Is it at a park with some is it on the radio? Like, what's the best way to view / listen to the Super Bowl?
Certainly at a bar with sticky tables. Yeah, that's the best way, with a few friends or at least one or two friends, and then you go and maybe you meet up with some random people. But you got to have the sticky table to really make it the Super Bowl. But also being at home is great too.
Heads or tails?
Always tails.
Would you actually bet it?
No. No.
Pro Bowl. Keep it or abolish it?
Listen, I came in. The slam dunk contest was still fun in the late 90s.
Right.
That thing was done. They're all done. All-star games are done. There's too much money. They're not going to play hard, right? I mean, we've accepted. The baseball all-star game is pretty good still, right?
It's the best one, yeah.
Yeah. But basketball and football, it's over. I just say, give me my competitions. Give me my long-distance throwing. I will continue to advocate for this. We need Anthony Richardson and Joe Milton in the same room throwing as far as they can. I will literally pay to see who can throw farther.
I'm on the Elite Sports Show with Jeff Mans Monday through Friday, 2 to 5 Eastern time. I'm on with him Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And we were talking about the Pro Bowl because I accidentally, and my eyes burned, caught like 3 minutes of the Pro Bowl the other night.
Yeah, no.
It was absolutely inside of Moscone Center on a 50-yard field with flags, and Jamar Chase is dropping a ball right in his hands and smiling, laughing, and it's embarrassing. Like I remember, even like in the old days they did it on the beach, and until what's his face blew his knee out. At least the beach was more exciting than a 50-yard field inside a fake stadium. But it's horrendous. I totally agree with you.
The only thing I think we could get them to care about still is like the 40-yard dash.
Right. I
think they would care about that. Yep. Who can throw for? I mean, we're going back to recess here with these competitions. They would care about. They're not going to care about this stuff.
Like why roll the sports back in the day when they'd have all these? Yeah, totally. Yeah. All right. Well, finally, a serious one. Who wins the game?
I think the Seahawks defense is too good, so I'm going to pick the Seahawks. It should be a fun game, though. I think Vrabel and May are a nice combo there, but yeah, I'm taking Seahawks.
Russell Clay at fantasyguru.com joins us every Friday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time with the season, in essence, wrapping up Sunday. What does your schedule and workload look like moving forward, Russ? How do the people still find you and your work?
We're still doing Dynasty stuff, so that'll start to ramp up about a week after the Super Bowl ends. There was the Senior Bowl this past week, and we're gonna start looking at college prospects and rookie rankings and all that fun stuff, which is kind of something we've already been doing. But yeah, it's the off season, Ray. So we're gonna have fun, and it's gonna be a fun off season.
You can follow him on Twitter X at Russell J. Clay. You can follow him on TikTok at
Russell J. Clay.
Look at that. He's smart. He's smart like me. At the Ray Flowers, he's Russell J. Clay. He'll continue to join us again next week. We'll finish our rookie review with him. We'll talk about the tight end position, all the rookies at that position. And then we'll start doing some team looks as we go through the offseason here. But as Russ said, he'll continue to be answering questions over at fantasyguru.com in the Discord room, continuing to do TikTok videos, continuing to talk food because he's our foodie on staff here. If it's fried or salty, he's our guy. Russ Clay of fantasyguru.com. Thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend watching the game and good luck getting some chicken tenders.
Thanks, Ray.
He's Russ. I'm Ray. Go tune over to SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio from 2 to 5 Eastern for the Elite Sports Show with Jeff Mans. Enjoy your Sunday. Super Bowl betting guide is available right now at fantasyguru.com. Enjoy the game. We'll be back here on Monday to talk about it. And we'll continue to roll on with baseball because now we can dive into baseball a little bit more heavily than we have been of late. For Russ, I'm Ray. It's been Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by fantasyguru.com.